Hello everyone, it's Imelda from Workschool, and last time we went over the print statement and how to comment in Python programming. And today we're going to learn about variables. So what is a variable? A variable is simply a placeholder for some data. In mathematics, we usually see x and y as variables in equations. So today we're going to see the variables in Python programming. Welcome back, guys. Let's continue our journey and learn more about variables. So before we begin, Python has a few rules about naming variables. And the first rule is the name of the variable may have any length and contain letters, digits, and underscores. And every name can begin with a letter or underscore. So we can have variable names like var1 underscore var1 or var underscore 1 or underscore var underscore 1. Also, the names of the variables are case sensitive. So there's a difference between var underscore 1 and var underscore 1. These are two separate variables. Also, the name of the variable cannot be a keyword. So keywords are reserved words in Python that cannot be used for variables, functions, or any other identifiers. They're used to define the syntax and the structure of the Python language. So as we go on, we'll see more about keywords. Now, let's see some variables in Python. The first variable we are looking at is int. And this is used to represent integers. So let's create an example. So let our first variable var1 be equal to the int of 1.234. And when we use the print function from the previous video to print var1 and run it, we obtain 1. The int, we have to note that the int variable rounds down the numbers placed in its brackets. So let's try another example. So if var2 is equal to the int of 5.789, usually we're supposed to get a 6, right? If we are rounding up, but the int variable rounds it down. So when we print var2, we're going to get a 5. Now, the second variable we're going to look at is float. And this represents numbers with a fractional part. So fractions. And if we create a new example, let's say var3, and let that be float of 4.2, let's say 4. When we run that, we have to print that, and it's going to give us 4.0. So it adds a fractional part to the numbers placed in its brackets. So float adds or represents the fractional part of the numbers placed in its brackets. Yes. Now the third variable we are looking at is string, and that represents a sequence of characters. So characters. And we represent string literals as characters with single or double quotation marks. So let var4 be equal to the string of hello. And when we print out var4, we get a hello. And the fourth variable we're looking at is the Boolean. And this represents true or false. So if we create a variable 5, boolean of true, and when we print out var 5, we're going to get true. So boolean represents just true or false statements. There's a last variable type which represents nothing, and that's called the none. So if we have a variable 6, and that's equal to a none type, when we print that out, we're going to get nothing, none. Let's try an example. Let's write B2. So in order to do that, let's get some variables. Let x be equal to b, which is a string. Let y be equal to 2, and then let z be equal to x plus y. So we are adding b to 2. Let's try printing that out and see what we get. So we get an error that says that we can only concatenate string, not integer to string. So the meaning is that we cannot add an integer and a string. They all have to be in one form of a variable. And we cannot change b to an integer, but we can change 2 to a string. So let's edit z and make that x plus the string of y. And if we print that out, we're going to get b2. Yes. So today we've gone through the 5 types of variables in Python language, and they are int, float, string, boolean, and the none type. So today we were able to go over the variables in Python. Please remember to always put your strings in quotation marks, and remember to use good names for your variables in order to remember them whilst coding. If you have any comments or questions for me, kindly leave them down, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next week. Bye!